Streamer. Powered by Streamer. Stream your podcast, stream your story, stream yourself. Try it free at streamr.nyc.
Welcome to the Daily Bag Podcast. My name is Thomie Isreal. My mother didn't give me that name. I gave myself that name with the hope that I could live by it, stand by it. And when it's all said and done, I lived up to it. So let's get right down to it. This is one of those joints where I come straight from the heart, deep down. This is one of those joints that's a conversation with myself. But I do give you the warrant and the permission to eavesdrop and listen in. Whew. I can remember, and I hope the background noise, I try to cut off that vent, but you know I gotta record my podcast any way I can, anywhere I can, when I can. And it just happens to be that background noise is there. And this one is try to slide in here, see if the sound is a little better. It's all about trial and error, so I'll be in here, see if it with trial and error. I want to talk about today. Today is Valentine's Day 2019. But on Valentine's Day 2003 was a dark day for me. Dark day. It was the first day to my 13-year prison sentence. I had got myself so far in debt because of gambling. Got myself so far deep in debt with gambling. And because of the gambling, I was strangling my company, which was called Urban Horses. It was just such a beautiful company. It was a dream come true. It was a baby that I had made started from a dishwashing job, saving all my money for the whole year, taking my income tax check, combining it and buying one vehicle, one used Cherokee Limited, blue, beige, peanut butter interior. And I started driving everybody around with that one vehicle. And I worked so hard, man, because in Harlem, that Cherokee at the time, I think it was 98. The other cars had harder joints. They had Navigators had just came out and they had those. So the people really wanted to be with the Navigators. And this is before Uber. And I remember telling myself how I could build this business with the customers, and I'll make them where it wasn't about the car I was driving, the used vehicle, but it was about they would be able to always rely on me. And that's how I built the business, just a blanket and a pillow and just living in that vehicle. I made sure it smelled good. But living in that vehicle and being the one that they could count on. So they would always call for the other drivers, and other drivers would be busy. They'd say, just give me 197. That was my cab number at the time, 197. So they call, give me 333. Is 333 working? This is before the Uber days, man. We used to call this Touch of Class or the OJ. So they would call for the other cars, but when is 67 working? Is 67 be busy? They'd say, just give me 197. Because you always can count on 197, right? Until 197. Oh, man. This is heartfelt one, man. It'll be a little bit all over the place, man. I'm not even going to keep this one long. I might do this one in two parts, man. I remember getting in and building that company up, man, to something so beautiful, man. I swear, I remember my first. Now, remember, I'm coming from the heart. Bro, and I'm going to be honest with you, man. Because this is a conversation with myself, and I'm just letting you listen. I'm reminiscing with myself, and I'm just letting you eavesdrop, man. I remember building this, thinking about this company. I was saying, wow, if I drive all the big shots in Harlem, they gonna get me to the rappers, because the company always was about the entertainment industry. I said, wow, how do I get to the rappers? I wanna be for the record labels. I wanna be the car service to the record labels. I want all the rappers to call me, man. How do I get that? And I knew all the rappers wanted to be drug dealers, and all the drug dealers wanted to be rappers. You know what I'm saying? Let's not say all drug. Let's say the hustlers. You know what I'm saying? In that time, in that era, right? So I said, wow, if I get the street dudes gonna lead me to the rappers. And that was the dream. And I remember starting to really dominate the streets. I remember when people would go to parties, it was like, if you didn't have me, then you wasn't, you know what I'm saying? But the name of the company at the time was Urban Horses. I was Horses. That was my name, Horses. But the other people was part of Urban Horses. It got to the point where I had 11 luxury vehicles. So if you didn't pull up to these exclusive parties and you didn't have a Horses or your own car, but if you was from the streets and you didn't have horses, then you wasn't really saying nothing at that time, right? We're talking about a point in time. So I got to build this little company into something that was special. And I remember my first rapper that called, and I remember clearly the day. It was the day after Summer Jam 98, 99, because it might have took me some time to build. It was, you could check who was on the bill, because it was a Summer Jam. The day after Summer Jam, Mace was performing, Big Pun, Wu-Tang. It was that year, so I'll double check later on what year that actually was. But I remember Mace people calling, because I was from Harlem, and that was where the base was at in Harlem. So I remember Mace people calling to get a car, and I only had one at the time. The guy called, so he wound up taking me. And they wasn't really aiming for me. Don't get me wrong. This time I still was nobody. I was building up, but I was still nobody. Mace people called, and I get the guy in the car. So he's in the car. He go pick up Huddy, and he picks up Huddy, and he picks up Loon. He picks up Huddy, and he picks up Loon. God bless the dead Huddy. Huddy 6. So it's 3 of us in the vehicle. We go down to Sony. We go up, and they just got their label called All Out. I think it was called, All Out, where Mace had his label All Out. I think it was distributed through Sony. So we go up to Sony, go Madison. I'm feeling good. I'm looking good. I'm like, yo, this is what it's all about, man. And I remember going up in Sony and looking around and seeing Maxwell was there, and Jermaine Dupri, and they gave me all these free CDs. And I'm like, yo, this is what I dreamed about. You know what I'm saying? This is what I was always dreaming about, getting to this level. Now, Mace wasn't there. I didn't even care. I had these artists that was like, I don't want to say subpar, but they was on the come up with the label. So I was like, yo, man, I'm with Mace. I'm with Mace team. I was so excited and happy. And I remember they was into the bill. After we ran around, went to the studio, we went back to this place in Harlem, a classic place. It's no longer there, but it was a classic place called the Hot Pot. Hot Pot was on 133rd and 7th Avenue, right on the corner. And they was all inside there eating, and I was waiting outside. And I remember I stepped out of my car, and I remember the Cherokee had a little problem. If you opened the door while it was open, the alarm would go off. And the alarm would not stop. And I couldn't, why? I tried to find out, like, why this would keep happening. I used to do all this tough stopping stuff. And one thing would work, and it would just stop. It would stop. The alarm would go, stop the alarm. But this particular day, I couldn't find a trick, what I would do, because it was like a trial and everything, but I never realized what I did. So the alarm wound up going off this night. And they in the restaurant, and I'm waiting for them I step out and wind up opening the door again. The alarm is going off, and they inside the restaurant. I'm trying to figure it out. It's about 3 minutes going. I'm sweating. I'm like, oh man, this is messing up my whole night. This is what I all dreamed about. I'm be ashamed. Because in Harlem, it is no mistakes allowed when you in Harlem. Harlem is like, you got to be at the top of your game all the time. Like, nobody wants to be embarrassed. So I can't get the alarm. I'm like, I got to stop this. So somebody came and told me, put the key inside the door. And I put the key inside the door and turned it, and the alarm went off. When I went back to Hot Pot, because I was right around the corner, when I went back to Hot Pot, they was gone. So at the time, I was only charging $35 an hour. They had ran up 11-hour bill, right? So they might be at 300 and change, but they, it wasn't even about the money. It wasn't even about the money. It was about, I would have gave them that for free. I had such a great day with these guys that I would have gave them the 11 hours for free because I had a chance to see my dreams starting to materialize, right? I had the CDs. I seen a chance to see Maxwell and Jermaine Dupri. I would have gave the guy. They didn't have to run out on me like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying nothing about these guys are great guys. Maybe they was embarrassed. Maybe felt it was my fault. Whatever the case may be, they could have gave me some kind of salute or something. I went back in that restaurant, they was gone. Because after I turned off the alarm, I still waited. And I was waiting like, damn, how long they taking to eat? I go back and look inside, they was gone, bro. And I was like, damn, that's how it's going to be? You know what I'm saying? They might have had their reasons, man, for doing that day. You know what I'm saying? But they didn't. And the real thing is that I would have gave them that for free. That would have been a courtesy for them helping me materialize my dream, man. You didn't have to do me like that. That 385, man. But anyway, I'm over the 10-minute mark. I got to get to work, man. We going to make this a part. We going to make this a continuing joint, man. We'll pick up where I left off. Because remember, today is Valentine's Day. I've always been talking about the dark, but I want the dark day on what happened to me at 12 noon, Valentine's 2003. However, we're going to have to break it up because I got to get to work, man. But it's going to get up to that point and why it all happened, how it all happened, how that became, you know what I'm saying, a extreme downfall for me, man. My name is Thomie Isreal, and this is the Daily Bag Podcast, man. I hope I ain't offend nobody. If this podcast is too heavy for you when you coming for motivation, I advise you don't use your warrant. Don't use your permission to eavesdrop because for the next couple of days, we about to get deep, bro. So this is not for you, man. I give you the permission to move on. Catch me next week or move on to another podcast. There's thousands of podcasts out there because we about to really start picking up and get raw now. I can't play no more games because this is about me. This is about saving my life. When I talk, I'm going to go deep because it's about helping me, healing me. So if it ain't for you, it ain't for you. I respect that. There's other podcasts. My name is Thomie Isreal. This is the Daily Bag Podcast, and we hope to be here tomorrow. God willing, wake my eyes up. I'm definitely going to do this podcast. I want to get this story off my chest.